the desert was quiet. Outside, not a breeze stirred. Inside her, the storm had finally run its course. As the sun dipped behind the blood-red mesas of Pirowin, Utah, the land grew still. Meri sat alone on the creaking wraparound porch of Liz's Heritage Inn. The wood beneath her rocking chair moaned softly, as if echoing her unrest. She had lost track of how many times her phone buzzed, names flashed across the screen, distant family, producers, publicists. She ignored them all. She stared toward the fading horizon, not seeking answers, just breathing. Something inside had shifted. Not collapse. Not defeat. More like release. Meri unlocked her phone, opened the camera, and hit go live. Her expression was unreadable, the calm eye of a long-contained tempest. "I'm done pretending," she said clearly. "I'm done keeping quiet for people who never returned the favor." Within moments, her audience grew into the tens of thousands. The chat exploded, concern, curiosity, chaos. But Meri didn't waver. "For years, I believed silence kept things together. But silence also hides harm. I played my part. I stayed loyal. I did everything I thought was right." She paused. The words hung in the air, heavy and plain. "I was told to make sacrifices. So I did. For others' benefit. I waited to be seen, to be heard. But I wasn't. I gave everything, and I was still left alone." Her voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. "I was told it was strength. But it was erasure." In the quiet kitchens and living rooms across the country, people listened. Some cried. Some cheered. Some merely nodded, understanding too well. Miles away, those who once shared her story watched in silence. A new chapter. Meri ended the stream. She didn't check the comments. She didn't refresh the news. She set the phone down and exhaled, a long, deliberate breath, as if for the first time in years. By morning, her words had become headlines. But she didn't need validation. Later, Christine and Janelle called, not for drama, not for the cameras, but for connection. They met quietly in Salt Lake City. No producers, no crew, no script. For the first time in a long time, they were simply women. Not characters. "You broke the spell," Christine said softly. Meri didn't reply. She didn't need to. In her silence was understanding. Peace on her own terms. Meri redecorated the rooms at Liz's. She cooked porch suppers for neighbors. She planted lavender. Guests came, not to meet a public figure, but a woman who had endured and chosen to rise. Then Elijah came. A historian, traveling through for a lecture series, he booked a room at her inn. Tall, soft-spoken, his eyes held questions, not assumptions. They spoke first of literature. Then of choices. Then of regrets and resilience. He never once asked about the past she left behind. "What makes you feel alive now?" he asked one night, beneath the Utah stars. And for once, she had an answer. Elsewhere. The world kept spinning. Headlines debated truth and loyalty. Former figures issued responses, some defensive, some vague, some filled with tears. But the audience, once passive, now looked more closely. And in all the noise, Meri was no longer part of it. Not really. She had walked through it. She had spoken. And now, she had peace since Meri's live confession. The internet buzzed relentlessly, but Meri kept her focus close to home. At Liz's Heritage Inn, the mornings were quiet again, but now with a different kind of energy, a gentle warmth that felt like hope. She found herself savoring small things, the hum of bees around the lavender, the comforting scent of fresh coffee, and the soft murmur of neighbors stopping by for a friendly chat. One afternoon, Elijah knocked softly on her door. I brought you something, he said, handing her a worn copy of Mark Twain's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, a nod to their first conversation. Meri smiled genuinely, the kind of smile that reaches your eyes. Thank you, she said. They sat on the porch together, watching clouds drift over the desert horizon. Connections rekindled. Meanwhile, in Salt Lake City, Christine and Janelle met more frequently with Meri. Their conversations weren't about TV or past conflicts, but about their dreams, fears, and what life might hold next. I'm tired of the drama, Christine admitted one day, stirring her tea. Me too, Janelle agreed. But I'm ready to find peace, on my own terms. Meri nodded. Maybe that's what we've all been searching for. The three women found strength in each other's company, a sisterhood forged through shared experience, now building something new. Ripple effects. Back in the wider world, viewers debated Robyn's responses in interviews and specials. Some saw her denial as weakness, others as self-preservation. But the cracks in the family narrative were impossible to ignore. As the season unfolded, Kody appeared more often isolated in scenes, his usual confidence replaced by moments of quiet reflection. The public began to ask, how do you heal a family that's been fractured for so long? Janelle's candid conversations about boundaries and respect struck a chord with many viewers, sparking broader discussions about emotional health and the importance of self-care. New beginnings. One evening, Meri stood on the porch, wrapped in a shawl against the cool desert breeze. Elijah joined her quietly, hands tucked in his pockets. What scares you now? He asked gently. Meri thought for a moment. Not being seen for who I really am. But I'm learning that's okay. I'm enough, even if others don't understand. Elijah smiled, and for a while, they watched the stars blink awake in the vast sky. Weeks turned into months. Meri's quiet strength became a beacon for many, both inside and outside her community. Her porch suppers grew, filling with neighbors and friends who came for the warmth, the stories, and the genuine connection they found there. One evening, as twilight painted the sky in shades of purple and gold, Elijah arrived with a small package, a collection of old family photographs he'd found at a local estate sale. Thought these might belong to your family, he said. Meri traced her fingers over the images, memories stirring. It feels like reclaiming a part of myself I'd lost. The weight of truth. Meanwhile, back in Flagstaff, the fallout from Meri's live stream continued. Robyn struggled to maintain her composure under the scrutiny of fans and critics alike. The carefully crafted facade was cracking, and she found herself increasingly isolated. At a family gathering, Kody tried to mediate, but the tension was palpable. I don't want to keep fighting, Meri said quietly, but I won't be silent anymore. Her words hung in the air, simple, yet powerful. Sisterhood and support. Christine and Janelle, too, were finding their own paths to peace. I'm planting a garden this spring, Christine shared one afternoon. Something alive and growing, something I can nurture without fear. Janelle smiled. Maybe we can all do that, in our own way. They promised to keep supporting each other, forging bonds that no reality show drama could break. A new chapter. Meri's relationship with Elijah deepened, not defined by her past, but by their shared curiosity and respect. They spent afternoons exploring local history, evenings sharing meals under starlit skies, and long talks that stretched until dawn. I never thought I'd find this kind of peace, Meri admitted one night. Sometimes, the hardest storms bring the clearest skies, Elijah replied. Hope beyond the headlines. As the public's attention gradually shifted away from sensational headlines to the very real human stories behind the scenes, Meri embraced her newfound freedom, not just from the past, but from fear itself. She wasn't just the woman from a reality show anymore. She was a survivor, a friend, a woman who had reclaimed her voice. And in the vast, quiet desert, that voice rang clear.